Hi guys, I am Fluff and this is a starter guide for DayZ aimed at helping you get started once you're in the game and providing you with a few tips to let you live longer. First thing I would advise you to do before you even go into the mod itself is to run the training missions for Armor 2 to help you get familiar with the controls, weapon handling and so forth. You don't have to do them. I will cover some of what they cover in this video, but they may make your life a bit easier. A quick explanation of the HUD, starting from the bottom right moving up. The knife and fork symbol indicates hunger, the droplet indicates blood status, the canteen indicates dehydration, the thermometer is an as yet unimplemented mechanic, the face indicates humanity, and the eye and the ear indicate visibility and noise levels. Finally, there's the debug console, which is fairly self-evident. The unsaved state is probably the most useful to you, because if it says true, it means you haven't actually had your character saved yet. If the canteen or knife and fork indicators turn red and start blinking, this indicates that you are hungry and or thirsty and you need to eat or drink immediately in order to stop yourself starving to death or dying of thirst. Likewise, if you get hit, the blood indicator will start to turn red the more severe your blood loss is. If it too is flashing with a cross symbol in it, you are bleeding and need to apply bandages through the context menu to stop the bleeding. If you do bleed, you will lose blood, which will be shown in the debug console, and you must restore that blood by either eating canned goods, which will increase the blood by 200, meat, which will do it by 800, or by getting a blood transfusion from another player, which will give you full blood straight off the bat, I believe. Movement will be in one of three familiar stances: stand, crouch or prone, C, X or Z respectively. You can double tap W for a full-on sprint. Each stance has two movement speeds, slow and fast, which can be alternated by holding the shift key or double tapping to toggle between them. Choosing the correct speed and stance is important because it will affect how easily you are detected by players and or zombies, but the HUD has indicators which will help you to tell just how visible and loud you are currently being, using the ear and eye indicator, which is located in the upper right hand corner of the screen. The more bars next to the eye and the ear, the louder and more visible you currently are. If you hold Alt, you will be able to move your head independently of your body so that you are able to look in a direction that you are not pointing, which is fantastic for situational awareness, or in this case staring directly at the ground. Tap right mouse button to enter your weapon sights, and hold the right mouse button to zoom in. On most scopes, such as on the CZ, you cannot zoom in once you are looking down the scope. However, you can do so with something like a red dot sight or iron sights. Comma and full stop keys will cycle your chat channel, while the question mark key will open the chat box so you can type. In-game VoIP defaults to caps lock for push to talk. You will not be thanked for using any other channel than direct communication for voice, so don't do it unless you want to get flamed. Managing your backpack and inventory is a little bit weird, but you can get used to it, and you interact with everything using the scroll menu. You use your mouse wheel and then left click on whatever it is you want to do, so you can switch weapon or whatever it is that turns up. It's a context menu, so what you can do changes depending on what you're actually looking at the time. In the case of a backpack, you just look at it on the ground and you click take, and it will disappear and it will be attached to you, and you can see it if you look in free look there. What you'll see here is any visual aids in terms of binoculars or rangefinders at the top left there, followed by your main weapon. Then your stuff on the right there, that's your standard inventory, your back slot, which will always be in a backpack in DayZ, then your sidearm and bandages, and finally your miscellaneous stuff like knives and watches and so forth. To open the bag, click it in the gear menu and then hit open bag. Anything in it will appear as a number on the left hand side, as you see there, and anything that is currently immediately available to you will appear on the right hand side. So this is the stuff in your standard inventory: weapons, sidearm, miscellaneous. You'll also see the type of bag at the top with a number showing you how many slots have been taken. Picking anything up off the ground is handled in a similar manner. In this case you interact with it and it will show it on the left whatever is lootable and whatever you've got on you on the right. If there's space, anything that you click across will go into your standard inventory. If you want it in your bag though, you will have to open your bag again, and now it will show you every single slot. As you can see, sometimes you may end up having to do a little bit of shuffling if you want to get what you're after. One of the biggest problems at the moment comes with trying to put a weapon in your backpack. Never put a weapon straight from your inventory into your backpack. Put it on the ground first, and then interact with it while it's on the ground, and then you can put it into your bag. If you do it any other way, the chances are your weapon will disappear into the bag and be lost for good, as well as all the ammunition for it. Incidentally, picking up anything you want is as simple as clicking on it in the menu and then clicking the arrow on the right so that it goes from wherever it is into your inventory. Hunting is a viable tactic in DayZ. In order to stop yourself getting hungry, you will need a hunting knife which you will use to skin the animal to get meat from it, and you will need matches to make a fire. You'll use the fire to cook the raw meat that you get off the animal, and then you can eat that. It also gives you 800 blood, so it's a good method of taking care of blood loss from injuries. You will of course eventually meet another survivor in your travels, and the most instinctive reaction for most people is not always the best one. If you want to convey friendly intentions or simply that you really don't want to be shot, then you can start by lowering your weapon and saluting, which can be done with double tapping control and pressing the apostrophe key, or alternatively by doing the super dance of friendship, which consists of leaning left and right repeatedly, which you can do by tapping Q and E alternately. This might extend your lifespan if you meet a survivor. No guarantee, but if it's your only option, you'll probably dance. It pays to keep your empty water bottles because you can refill them from nearly every large body of water, including the ocean and water pumps in towns, so don't immediately toss away empties if you know there could be a place to refill a few hundred meters up the road. Sneaking up on zombies isn't impossible, but make sure you're listening to the sounds they make. The calm sounds are, although slightly unsettling, not nearly as bad as when they are attacking you. You can get a lot closer than you think depending on whether you're prone or not, but even crouch walking you can still get pretty near without setting them off. If you do aggro zombies, don't panic and fire straight off the bat. Get running as fast as you can and just get out of there so that you pull as few zombies as possible. You don't want to have to deal with the friggin' horde, you want to deal with one or two. Once you're safe, then you can fire and mop up any that got aggroed by the sound of your gunshot. What you really do not want to do is panic in the middle of a town and fire off your weapon, because you can guarantee, unless you're going to be able to get indoors, you're pretty much boned. The last thing you want to try to avoid is advertising your position when you don't need to. Yes, you might be able to meet up with some friendlies, but equally there's a lot of players out there who have no interest in being nice to you whatsoever or doing a fair trade. Chances are they just want to kill you, so try to keep it out of side chat as much as possible unless you really need to.